Thank you, everyone, and welcome to our practice this afternoon. And our practice today is, I don't know if it's a word Anne has ever used, but it's certainly a word that you hear on and off in different yoga classes where a teacher may say, go to your edge in a pose. And people often think, well, what's your edge? So today we'll do poses about edge, and what an edge really is bringing awareness to our practice. So during our practice, sometimes we maybe try a little too hard to get into a pose, or maybe we could give a little more effort. And that's where it goes back to awareness. The awareness lets you know, here's how I'm arriving at the practice today in this moment, which is different probably than yesterday or even 2 hours ago. So going to our edge physically with awareness lets us know, here's what I can do today, and even emotionally, because sometimes in our yoga practice or off the mat, I would say real life, off the mat, we know what we can handle emotionally. We know what we can handle physically. And because we are all people with Waldenstroms and things change day to day, it's important that we know where our edge is every day. So that's our theme for today. And we have been using energy exercises on and off through the times that we've been meeting together and when I did the Reiki wellness class. And I'd like to share with you a energy practice that I do every morning. And it is an Ayurvedic practice. It's a very ancient practice that goes hand in hand with yoga. So you'll recognize some of the same moves that we do in yoga. And the purpose of it is, as I said, it's typically done in the morning. Sometimes I do it twice a day if I've been sitting too long, because it helps get our energy moving through our body. It helps to juice up our joints. It helps with stiffness. And it's called the Dasha, D-A-S-H-A, Chalana. It's also referred to as the 8 churnings, or you may see it as the 10 churnings. So it can be done seated or it can be done standing, and I will show you both ways as we go through it. And when we do this, you do 8 of each of the 8 exercises. So with that, let's start first by coming to stillness and quiet. And begin by becoming aware of your breath. And take a quick look at what's going on in your mind. You've just come to seated. I shared a whole lot of information. And then coming back to the concept of our edge. Maybe let your mind start at the top of your head, coming all throughout your body, your physical being, and noticing if there's any areas that will require you to really think about your edge today. And then mentally, are you tired? If you're tired, maybe your edge needs to be pulled back. finding where you are in this moment with awareness. And to help us begin to settle, we'll come into some even breath, even breathing pranayama. Let's begin by taking an inhale to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And exhaling 1, 2, 3. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. And exhaling 1, 2, 3. And go through several rounds on your own, inhaling and exhaling to the count of 3. And the next time you exhale, and bring your hands to heart center. And if you'd like to set an intention for today's practice, it could be, I'll be aware when I'm at my edge. Anything that will suit you for your practice. And then we'll release, and we'll start out with the Dasha Chalana. So I'm going to move my chair back because the first of the 8 churnings is, it can be either circles at your ankle or standing. So I'll show the first 8 at circles at your ankle. So if you can cross your leg up, if not, just leave your heel on the floor. And we'll make circles 8 ways. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then reverse that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll show you standing on the other side. So this one is a little bit more of a balance. You're actually getting on the tops of your toes and going, I'll stand sideways. And if you can't stand on the top of your toes, then just lift your heel and do it with your heel lifted. But I'll show you the traditional way. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I just want everyone to know that in the morning, I'm definitely holding on when I do that. The next is shoulder shrugs, which can be done seated or standing. So we'll start by going backwards, bringing our shoulders up, back and around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then going forward, we'll bring them up to your ears and forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'll show on the chair. The next is circling, which so far most of these we do in our regular practice. So putting your hands on your thighs or just above your knees. We'll circle in one direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let your awareness really feel what's happening. 7 and 8. And then standing. You want your feet a little bit, just a little past hips width, and it's just circling, standing. So you want to, if you can, leave your arms just hanging so that the whole purpose is, again, let's get our energy moving. And 8. And then I'll let you sit down. I'll show it to you standing first because it's a little bit different because we're swinging our arms. So how this is, it's, so you're hitting just below your collarbone and just at where your kidneys would be. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you were seated, yeah, because it's a little bit harder with the chair, we're just going to do what we usually do in class with our twist is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And coming back, so if you're starting to feel a little energy moving, a little warmth, that's how, exactly what you want to happen, and especially in the morning. So the next one is wrist circles. It can be done, so here's actually the way you do it. So I'll come up close. You can see my forearms and fingers are together. I'll show you that first. Don't do it if you have shoulder issues. You can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go the other way if that's the way you're practicing. People that want to try it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The next is circling your knees. Can be done standing or seated. So we'll go the first way, seated. Just circling your knees. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Standing, you would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the very last one, I'm going to show you a couple of ways. So let me show you the actual standing, and then I'll explain why I'm going to show you a couple of ways. The actual standing, I'll do it from the side, is you're cascading forward and rolling up, and forward and rolling up. So that's the traditional way. Many mornings, my back would just say, I'm done with you for the day if I do that. So a lot of mornings I have to do a standing cat-cow because that my back can take. Other mornings, my back is even worse. So I'm just doing a pelvic tilt. And all of those things we can do on the chair. So on the chair, if you wanted to do the full flow, you just fold forward and come up, fold forward and come up. Seated cat-cow, we all know how to do, and pelvic tilts. So find the one that fits your back in this moment, and you just do 8 of them. And breathe. 4. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And that's my 8. And when you're all set, come right back down. to the chair. And take a full belly, deep breath in. And release with a sigh. One more inhale, deep, 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 deep. Exhale. And then our next inhale, we'll bring our palms up to the sky. And as we inhale, sweeping up all that energy you just generated. And then face your palms down as you bring that energy down across your entire body. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, sweeping up energy. Palms facing down and then facing your body as you let it flow all the way through. Coming back to center, hands at heart center. Taking an inhale and an exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll release and bringing up your right leg, crossing ankle over your left knee. This is seated pigeon pose. We'll sweep our arms up to the sky, bringing through heart center, and then on your knee, just above your knee and just above your ankle. Take another inhale here, open up your heart center, and then fold forward if it works for you. If not, just stay right where you are. Then we'll inhale back up, opening your heart, and then exhale. Fold forward any amount. You can stop right here or make the full forward fold. And open up, and we'll do that one more time. So as I said, we're going to move towards eagle pose. Garandashana is the Sanskrit name for it. And coming back up to center, releasing that right leg, and we'll just bend and straighten, bend and straighten. So eagle pose does require some hip opening, no matter what variation you do. And we did a lot of that hip opening in Dasha Chalana, but this will help us move towards this beautiful eagle pose. And you can release, and then bringing your left foot up, bring your hands in those same position. You might notice one side is a little tighter than the other. So on any of the forward folds, you might not go quite as far, but that's okay. So take that inhale again, opening your heart, maybe gazing up towards your ceiling, imagining the sky, and then folding forward any amount. And as you inhale, open, exhale, folding forward, and inhale and open, and exhale, folding forward, and just taking a breath here. And then slowly coming back up to seated. And we'll do that bend and straighten again, just extend our leg. And with each one of these poses, these asanas that we're practicing, bring your awareness back to what your edge is in this moment. Let's going to be different with each pose that we do. And release. We'll come back to mountain, hands on thighs, Tadasana. Breathing. And then we'll do some marches here, just marching up, back and forth. So how high you go is up to you, but it helps to move your hips, knees, and ankles. And again, will help you determine where your edge is. And release. Take an inhale, exhale, sweeping up and bringing hands to heart center. We'll do a couple variations for eagle arms. And the first one, because this will help you as we move into the full pose, is as you reach up towards the sky, you're going to bring your right arm on top of your left and hold your shoulders. Sweep your arms up to the sky, and then bring your left arm on top of your right. So this is one variation for eagle pose arms. Next variation is inhale, sweeping up. You can just bring your forearms together like we were doing in the Dasana Chanana. Inhale, sweeping up. Thread your fingers the opposite way. And then the final variation, inhale, sweeping up. You're going to take your left arm, bring it under your right so that your arms come into and like that. So this is definitely can be a little tension on your shoulders or your back. So move your hands around to see if you can find any way that maybe it's not as tight. And then release, and we'll do the opposite. So sweeping up, and this time your right arm goes under your left. But no, you always have that option of just releasing and bringing them to your shoulders. So let's breathe here for a moment. And then slowly releasing, bringing hands to heart center. And we'll come into goddess pose. So if you're seated, your toes turn out this way. Legs are wider, whatever wide for you. If you're standing, same thing. The thing you want to remember is to tuck your tailbone under. Don't let it fly back like that. And whichever way you are, we'll sweep our arms up and then bring them into goddess arms, cactus, gold pose with your heart open. So imagine that string opening. And then we'll bring our forearms together and round. Inhale, opening. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, opening, and hold, breathe. Let your gaze just softly look down at the floor of the earth. And then as you bring your hands to heart center, you can walk your feet in a little. If you're standing, you'll probably want to come to sitting. Bring your hands to the back of the chair. We'll just come into some windshield wipers. So we got you going up and down today, but we want to really make sure our hips and then coming back to center, walk your feet together. You might have to come to the edge of your chair. We're just going to do a couple of clamshells. So you're going to open your knees and close them. Open and close. And just do a few on your own. Again, letting that breath be a part of this. So inhaling and exhaling. And coming back. And we'll do a seated version of eagle. And I'll show up the blocks because I know a couple people had mentioned difficulty with the blocks, and I absolutely know what you mean. So this seated version gives you the same benefits as if you were standing. It might not have all of the intensity, but you're going to get the same benefits. So seated, let's take our left ankle and cross it over our right. And then because this is the ankle on top, the left arm is going to go under with whichever version you choose of arms. So let's everybody sweep our arms up. And if you're going to go into eagle arms, the left arm comes under. If you're going to go crossing shoulders, the left arm is under. Garandashana. Birds are very important in Hindu mythology. So in a lot of the ancient texts on yoga, you'll see a lot of bird imagery. And then release, sweeping all the way up. Release your legs. And let your hands come to heart center. We'll do eagle pose on the opposite side. So bringing the right foot over the left. And here's where a block is sometimes helpful. If you're somewhat off balance, taking the leg that's crossing on top and just setting it on a block gives a little bit more stability if you feel like you might fall forward in the chair. And then we'll sweep our arms up, and because our right leg is on top, the right arm goes under no matter which variation you're doing. And breathe. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and as you exhale, sweep up, release your leg, bringing hands to heart center. And we'll take our right leg, bring it all the way up to give a nice squeeze here. And if you want to fold forward, let your head fold forward. Bringing the right leg down to meet the left. You're going to bring the left leg up. Take that big inhale. Squeeze the knee in. Staying here or folding forward. And release. And we'll come into triangle pose before we come into eagle standing or sitting once again. So triangle pose if you're standing. can be with the chair. I want to put the chair in front of you so you can't see. So your right foot is out and your knee is straight. Your left foot is facing, say, the 7 o'clock position if you're on a clock. And you can reach forward, so extend your right arm, reaching forward, and let it come down. And maybe your knee, you can stay here, or if you're feeling confident and balanced, you can bring your hand to your waist or extend it to the sky. So those are your variations if you're standing. And I'll let you breathe or come out of the pose. If you're seated, that leg, one leg in front of the chair, the other one can go out straight, extending your arms. And the same thing, coming forward, hinging. Hand can come to the waist and the leg and turning up. So you want your heart to be turning up towards the sky. So those are all variations on triangle. And we'll come over to the opposite side. So if you're seated, bring the other leg in front of the chair. Leg is straight, extending your arms and that hinging. If you're standing, same thing. Leg is out, back leg is at 4 o'clock, extending your arms, either holding onto the chair, bringing your hand to your waist, or if you are really practicing, you can extend it to the sky. And just breathe. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Slowly releasing out of the pose. If you need to grab onto the chair, coming onto the chair. And breathing. I'm going to put the chair. Going to do eagle first, seated. We can all try seated, and then I'll do it again. If people want to stay seated, you can stay seated. If you want to stand and try, we'll do it standing. So I'll also do it with the blocks. So we'll start first by bringing our right leg over our left. So before we were just crossed at the ankles, now we're actually going to cross right over at the knees. Or if you need to, you do an ankle, your edge awareness. Sweeping your arms up to the sky. Your right arm is going to go under. And hold and breathe. Taking 3 breaths here before we go to the opposite side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And as you exhale, releasing your arms back to heart center, releasing your leg. Bring your hands to your thigh, and we'll take a couple of circles here. And coming back up. Crossing your left leg over your right. And this is where a block can be helpful if you need that support for your heel or toes. Sweeping up. Left arm goes under right, no matter what variation. Breathing. Letting that 3 breaths come to you. And the third breath, releasing hands to heart center, releasing your legs, and circling in the opposite direction that you did before. And coming to mountain pose. Softening your eyes or gazing down at the floor. Maybe asking that question. So what was my edge in this variation of eagle? What is it I need to be aware of when I practice this pose? And we'll come into it one more time. If people would like to stand, you might want to have your chair ready. And I'm going to show a variation with just crossing our ankles. But you still might want to have your chair here. And we'll start by standing. And if you're standing, and even if you're seated, let's do a few rocks back and forth on your feet. So your feet know there's a ground there. You're using a chair. Press into that chair so you know you have support. You may want to stand this way. I'm standing forward just so you can see, and the chair is not in the way. We're going to cross our right foot over our left. And this might be where you're going to practice the eagle right here. What's your edge saying? Perhaps you want to reach up and bring your right under or hold. Breathing. And slowly releasing. Hands to heart center. Uncrossing your leg. Hands to your waist, and we'll just take some circles here again. Let our hips know we're thinking about them. And as we come into the opposite side, when you come to your full eagle, let you just have a few moments of breath and quiet on your own. So you can think about where I am, what is my edge? So crossing left over right, left under right, and breathe. And slowly releasing, reaching up to the sky, hands at heart center, uncrossing your leg, and coming into circles in the opposite direction. Breathing. And coming back to stillness, whether you're standing or seating, back to mountain. So walking your feet under your hips. Hands can be pointing toward the earth or palms open to receive. Practice of awareness. of your edge. And we'll release mountain pose. You can come back to your chair and we'll come into a nice forward fold. So your legs can either be out straight or knees can be bent. Sweeping up to the sky. Slowly releasing forward. You might be at a nice straight flat back or coming down towards the floor. Breathing and releasing. And bringing yourself back up. Sweep our arms up to the sky. And twist over to the left. Releasing out any tension in your back. Coming back through center. Come over to the right. Back through center. Reaching side to side. Stretching as you prepare for Shavasana. The pose of release. And then just shaking your wrists out, letting them float right back down. Sprinkles of rain. And prepare to come into Shavasana. If you practice on the floor. If not, you can let yourself come back in your chair. Maybe extend your legs. Softening your eyes. Taking these next moments to find your release. Now with ease, begin to let yourself come back into the space around you. Noticing any sounds, smells. Letting awareness come back to your breath. Checking in with your breath, your physical being. And Sharon Baptiste, who is a yoga guru, says the edge is where we come right up against ourselves and what we can do and be. It is the boundary between where we are, the place of comfortable discomfort, where all growing and healing happens. Bringing your hands to heart center. I thank you for joining me in practice today. Om, peace, Om. May all beings have peace, and may we share peace with one another. Thank you.